You know, it's really rich to be back in the ring. And every often I'm asked to come and be a part of an academy or leadership summit. And I'm very humbled by that. Because I get to speak with and talk with, obviously, some of the great people of One Life. Not only the executive team, but certainly all of you that are out there making it happen in your endeavor. And so this is really a rich, rich moment for me. I'm really honored. I'm very thankful. I'm deeply appreciative to the entire One Life family for giving me a chance to come and speak with you. You've heard from a lot of people already, and you're probably tired of being spoken to. And so I won't trouble you too long this morning. I'm going to hit on some things and keep it moving, and hopefully you'll grab some takeaways from our time together, and it'll be serviceable in what you do on an ongoing basis. I appreciate Scotty really taking the time to talk about the most important things in my life, my faith. Number one, I don't apologize for that. I don't force that on anyone or upon anyone, but I'm unapologetic about it. And I was speaking at a juicy conference the other day, and I remember saying to about a group of about 10,000 people that my faith is not for sale. You know, that you can't buy it, and it can't be negotiated. It is mine, and it will always be mine. So my faith is big. My family, there are no words to really put in proper text when I talk about my wife of 22 years and my son who's a junior in college, and a daughter who goes over here to Mississippi State in Starkville. She's a freshman there. And then a daughter that's a senior in high school, will be going to the University of Georgia this come next fall. And so family means a ton to me. Not only my personal family, but my extended family, my work family, the people at the Institute at Georgia Tech, the student athletes you had a chance to see on the tape. So many of them are in careers. They played for Georgia Tech, graduated, got one of the greatest degrees you could possibly get there in Atlanta, and out in careers and professions, and whether it's sports or in the business sector, doing great things, families, et cetera, et cetera. And then my One Life family, in bringing me aboard several years ago to be a part of just an extraordinary organization. I've often said, you know, the key to great organizations is leadership. You've got to have quality, great people at the top that are championing your cause, and people who can also make tough decisions, folks that can make the right decisions and make those decisions in light of the company, but certainly in light of everyone that touches the company. And this company certainly does have tremendous leadership at the top, and it permeates itself throughout the organization. And I don't say that from guesswork. I've experienced it, and I know it for a fact of the quality of people that you are working with and that you are around. I never said perfect people. You know, we all have some flaws if we are honest with ourselves, okay? But certainly there are wonderful people in this organization. You can go to bed at night and rest really well knowing that the people that make the decisions, that influence decisions, that basically communicate with you on a daily basis are of top grade. You can rest with great comfort in knowing that. So a little bit of intro of myself. I do want to start with a poem. I often start with poems, and I like quotes, things that get me going. You know, maybe the film doesn't suggest it, I don't know, but I have a little bit of passion. You know, I get a little excited. You know, it doesn't take much for me to get fired up about nothing. Now, I can get fired up about that chair. Man, look at those red lines and green stripes on it. I can get fired up about it, you know, and make that chair come to life is what can happen. So it doesn't take much for me now. It just really doesn't. I get up in the morning like that. I go to bed like that. Man, I walk around like that. That's just the way I'm wired, I guess. I have no idea why. My wife says, man, I wake up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, and I get up and walk around the house and just check all the doors and look out the window and just all those things. I'm ready for a fight whenever it breaks out. I'm ready to go. That's right. I'm ready to do it, you know. There's no laying around here, man.
She said, boy, come on back to bed. You know, I'll be back in a minute. Don't trouble me right now. That's right. Oh, I love it is what I do. You've got to love it. So I want to start with a quote really quickly. And, you know, we're in election season, are we not? And all of these candidates and just all around the country. And boy, it's on CNN, it's on Fox, it's everywhere. And we're all forming our opinions, determining which way we're going to go, how are we going to be swayed, you know, who are we going to let lead the nation and who's going to take us to the top. And that's always a personal effort that we all make and our voters' rights and things that we all have the great privilege of participating in this great nation. You know what? As much trouble as our country can seem to have from time to time, I contend that it's the greatest nation in the world. You know, I mean, I really believe that. When you consider our democracy, when you consider, you know, the privileges that we get to experience, you know, the worst of America is the best in third world places. You realize that? It's that incredible. It really is. And I've had the fortunes of traveling internationally, and I've been to some third world places. And I can tell you that our worst is like their best. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You know, this is a fascinating and incredible place. But I love quotes by Theodore Roosevelt. And one of my favorites is this, the man in the arena, okay? The woman in the arena, or the person in the arena. And let me read to you just the opening piece here. It is not the critic who counts. Love this. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, who in the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I see so much of what we do in this business through this poem, woven through it. When it comes to being in the arena of insurance, the arena of what you do, and that the credit goes to the persons that are in it, not to the critic that stands outside of it, but to the ones who truly bleed and sweat and pound the roads and go after it. And Theodore Roosevelt certainly did capture a great emphasis when he talks about the person in the arena, and you're truly in the arena. I'm used to being in the arena in sports, and fans are around us, and I've played in 90, 80, 70,000 seat stadiums, and almost oblivious of the people in the bleachers, simply because you've got to be focused on the work and not the noise, you know. And so I learned a long time ago to put cotton in my ears when I walked into Lambeau Field, you know, because if you don't, you'll get intimidated. You'll back away because you'll wonder whether or not you can do this. You know, I give you one example. We were preparing for a game in Green Bay, and my special teams coach, the late great Frank Gans, had us practicing all week for their kickoff team. I was a kickoff return. I was a deep right guy. Mel Gray, Hall of Famer, was the return guy on the left side. Mel and I did a lot of great things in Detroit returning balls. 99% of the balls we want Mel to handle, not me. Okay? I usually lead Mel down the field and take him to the promised land. But the one thing you find out about the arena is that it's both predictable and unpredictable. Sometimes you know what's coming, sometimes you can't even fathom what's coming. So all week, Coach was saying, if in fact they kick that ball your way, D. Moore, here's what's got to happen. You've got to midstream adjust, is what you've got to do. You've got to adapt and you've got to overcome it if it comes your way. And sure enough, they kicked that ball off, and exactly what he said was going to happen, happened. That ball came to me in the far right corner. They kicked it deep enough that I caught it over my shoulder like this, and one foot in the end zone, the other foot's on the one. And I said to myself, now what's the rules? Should I stay in or should I come out? Coach, I remember you telling me that. But sure enough, my instincts take over. I take the ball and turn, and I go up the right sideline. Mel now takes my role. I takes Mel's role. He comes across the field, and I see it coming. When I saw it coming, I also saw him. And I'm like, he ain't trying to get to that ball. That thing's coming my way. And sure enough, I catch it up the right sidelines. I go, cut across the field, stiff arm. Oh, I wish you'd have seen that stiff arm, Benjamin. Man, I stuck it to him good, Scott. Woo, man, I wish you'd have seen it. Oh, but I hit him in a nice right punch right there and told him, God loves you. Pop! There I went, man, down that left sideline, and I'm rumbling down that field. It's the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 35, 20, 25, 20. And then I'm running, man. I'm coming at it, and I cut it back across the field again. And then when I got real, I started high-stepping. Oh, watch it now. And I'm coming up, and I get to the 10-yard line and run out of bounds. 10-yard line, they push me out of bounds, almost a 100-yard run, and then they take me out. And Barry Sanders takes it in and scores a touchdown on the next play. Who goes? Who knows? All they remember is Barry's touchdown. That's it. Yeah, I'm not bitter about that, Scott. No. What I'm about to tell you, you may have never considered before. Okay? These last 20 minutes or so. It challenges common thinking and conventional thought. It's even a brain teaser of sorts. So if I twist your brain a little bit with this, I'm sorry. But I want you to stay with me, and it's going to take a little bit of thinking for you to really grasp it. But it will challenge common thinking. The way you've always thought about this concept, probably you will either agree with me or disagree, and I really don't care. But nonetheless, I've experienced it, and I'll put it like this. It's one way to look at a particular thing. The coin has two sides to it, a heads and a tails, okay? And so it's okay to consider both sides of the coin. And so what I want to do is present to you this thesis, if you will, on this particular subject. And this could be a brain teaser, but that's okay. But I think there's enough evidence to support its legitimacy, okay? So let me set the table with this. Y'all ready? Set the table with this. I believe there are two kinds of people in most endeavors. Now, this is not an exhaustive talk, so the matter can be covered more extensively beyond this summit. But I believe there are two kinds of people in most endeavors. Name it, football, the insurance business, any corporate setting, church settings. You could name any workplace, any effort, and you'll find this, I think, to be pretty accurate. And I use it because it captures my background and why I stand here today. But not only that, you saw the finished product of what my career has been. But what you don't know is what it took to get there. No different than you. You've been there with me through the journey. You would appreciate that even more. Because nobody just take those clips and put them together and throw that stuff out there, and you look up on YouTube and it's, a gazillion hits on that thing, and I'm standing in Atlanta with Georgia Tech and all around the country and speaking to the World of Coke and speaking to the Georgia Lottery and doing conferences for those folks on an ongoing basis. I'm going to tell you something, that stuff just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. It doesn't. They don't give you that. They don't hand that out to you. They don't. And I tell my children that often, that nobody's going to give you anything. You're either going to work for it and prove that you deserve it, or someone else is going to take it from you. Because there's always a worthy candidate somewhere. And so that's the finished product. That's not the blood and sweat. So I believe there are two kinds of people in most endeavors. Here are the two kinds. First kind, the kind that wants to be really good. That's the first kind. The kind that wants to, and every time you have a conversation with them, they want to be really good. They can tell you why they want to be really good. And they're wide-eyed and they're bushy-tailed, they're enthusiastic, they're very positive, they're energetic, they want to be really good. And then there's the second kind that will do what it takes to be really good. There are two kinds of people in every endeavor. The kind that wants to be really good, but that's all they want to do, though. They just want to be really good. But when you begin to task them with step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8, step 9, step 10, step 11, step 20, step 40, and they run for cover. There are two kinds of people in every endeavor. The kind that wants to be really good, and the kind that wants to do what it takes to be really good. And I can tell you, I look back over my career, and I was the second. I was the latter. And I didn't realize that until I got older, and I understood it better. But get this. Everybody talks about the secret to success, but there's really no secret. It's no secret. The cat's out the bag. Did y'all know that? There's no secret to success. The cat's out the bag. You know it, and I know it. You might not want to admit it, but you know the secret. I know the secret. Stop kidding ourselves. We know the secret to success. You may want to ignore it. You may not want to embrace it, but you know it. My son calls me, and he tells me certain things about what he's trying to do and where he is. And I'll say, hey, man, you either in or out. When I was growing up, my mom used to always say, Derrick, close the door. You either in or out. You're letting the flies in, boy. In most endeavors, you're either in or out. There's an entrance and there's an exit. And I said to my son, hey man, I hear you. You either in or out, boy. The cat's out the bag. I think that the key to success is predicated on two things. Here they go. Two vitally key things, the key to success. Again, no exhaustive list, but I'm telling you personal experience. I've interviewed people. I've been interviewed. This leads me back to this culture. What's the whole thing? You know, these people that want a trophy for participating. My kid played on the baseball team, so we need to give him something. You know, partly I have a tendency to think that maybe that's the case. Maybe that is true to some degree. But you can't stay there, though, because that's not what's coming next. Two things. Here we go. Here we go. Are you ready for them? And then the brain teaser's coming right behind it. The keys to success is predicated on two things, two vital things. Number one, do what you love. Number two, love what you do. There is a distinction between the two. So much so that one's a prerequisite for the other. Do what you love what you do. Do what you love what you do. If you want to be successful. Success is predicated, I believe, on those two things. And we can talk extensively about details, and so I'm not here to give you a detailed talk. But I just want to highlight these two key things that I believe success hangs on. Doing what you love and loving what you do. Here we go. How do you know you love it? How do you know you love it? How do you know it? Because you're going to, because here's the deal. You know you love it because you're good at it. This is where we're gonna have some wrestling. You know you love it because you're good at it. Y'all with it? If you're not good at it, then you don't love it. Hang on. Otherwise, it's going to frustrate you. If you're not good at it, it's going to frustrate you. Hang on. So in order to love it, you have to get good at it. I don't think y'all caught that. I'll say that little line over again. How do you know you love it? Because you're good at it. That's how you know you love it. Do what you love. If you're not good at it, then you don't love it. Otherwise, it's going to frustrate you. So in order to love it, you have to get good at it. You will never love it until you get good at it. Why would I? I don't want to do what I don't love. But when I do what I love, man, I'm telling you, I'm all in. So you will never love it until you get good at it. You might think you love it, but until you're good at it, you can't love it. If you don't do what you love, you won't love what you do. If you don't do what you love, you won't love what you do. So if you're not good at it, you have to get good at it. And the only way to get good at it is to work on it. That's the only way to get good at it. Some people say, man, he is really successful at that. He is unbelievable at that. How does he produce like that? Oh my gosh, she is unbelievable at that. How does she produce like that? I can tell you why he's good at it. I can tell you why she's good at it. And I can almost tell you this, he or she loves it too. Because when you're good at it, you love it. Would you agree with that? When you're good at it, you love it. It's when you're not good at it that it frustrates you. But you don't run from it because you're frustrated with it. You learn how to be good at it. And when you learn how to be good at it, you're going to love it. Have I lost you yet? The only way to get good at it is to work on it, and you can't ever love what you do until you do what you love. Which leads to my story. You see, I did what I loved, and I kept doing it because I got good at it. And if I had not gotten good at it, I would not have done it. I don't stay around too much that I'm not good at because I want to beat you. I can't let you keep beating me. I'm sorry. You can't keep beating me. If you're outproducing me, I'm going to have a problem with that eventually, man. I've got to get better at what I'm doing if I am to love what I'm doing and I'm to compete with you and I'm to rise to a certain level. I can't keep getting beat by you. I would not have done it. I won't do it if I'm not good at it. Scotty and Scott would ask me to go play golf. Boy, y'all ought to see how I dress. I look good. Am I right, Scott? Ooh, son, I look good. The best looking thing out there, Scott, I guarantee I am. And we're going to take pictures before we start. Guarantee it. Because here's what I'm going to contend, big boy. I'm going to tell you this right now. When that thing's over, I guarantee it, y'all ain't going to just be talking about y'all. Y'all going to be talking about me too. It ain't going to be because I hit that ball real far, but I'm going to get some on the books so that you'll see, boy, I tell you what, Scott hit one, 200 yards, 300 yards. But boy, didn't that shirt Derrick had on today, didn't it look real good? Woo! Man, that thing looked good. That's right, that's right. I'm going to look good. So you see, I got a strategy. And Scotty and Scott, they don't know this. Benji too, they know this. I'm telling them now. When I'm invited to play golf with them, I really don't want to play. And I'm going to tell you why I really don't want to play, because I ain't real good at it. And they are better than me. And I don't like it. But here's the deal. I can't do anything about it unless I do something about it. Are y'all with that? So the deal is, if I'm going to do anything about it, and so I look at my phone and I look at my email, and I'm hoping Scott and Scotty or Benji don't send me a golf invitation. Because here's the problem. I ain't doing nothing about it, so when they call me, I'm going to be good at it. And here's what I'm thinking. They don't know this, but I've been playing a whole lot of golf lately, Scotty. Yeah, buddy. I went and got me a trainer. Yeah, buddy. Yes, I did. Woo! So here's the deal, buddy. All they going to be talking about with you, Scott, all they going to be say, boy, he sure can't hit that ball. But when they see me play the next time, they going to say, oh, boy, Derrick sure does look good in that orange shirt. And, man, he can hit that ball, too. Oh, I don't do much of anything that I'm not good at because I don't want you to look better than me. Sorry. I pick my poison. What is it that I'm invited to? I ain't too good at that. Nope, can't take it. What is it I'm invited to? Oh, yeah, let's go. Wonderful. And then I'll start thinking, you know what? I kind of like that golf thing. I better do something about it. And I can talk about it all I want. But until I get my big butt out at the course and start taking lessons and start working on my stroke and start working on my swing, until I learn how to do those things, then I'm going to always come up short when I go with these two guys, because I'm going to tell you something, they are good at it. Y'all with that so far? I was good at football. And I wouldn't have done it had I not gotten good at it. I'd have gotten into something else. Life is too short. I only got so many seconds, days, years, and months. And I also want to be profitable. And if I'm not, I've got to make some tough decisions. But I know I love it. So if I love it, do I love it enough to do something about improving in it? And so I'm going to invest in me so that I can go and get the returns I'm looking for in it. So I want to do something about it to get better at it. And when I was aspiring to be a football player, man, I would walk 3-4 miles from my house to get to the gym just to work out through the rain and skip through the porch of other people's homes just to get there. I had a best friend that I might have done it on 3 or 4 occasions. I would call him, meet me 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up. And I'd call him. He'd come to, I was living with my grandmother at this time. He would come to the house and blow the horn. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I want to go run. I was trying to get to the next level. We go out to our old high school, and it's an old raggedy field. There was one light sitting there. It was practically dark. He'd take his car and park it and shine the lights of his car on the field. And then he'd go and sit in the bleachers and go back to sleep. I'd be on the field running 40s. Boom. Boom. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Boom. Okay. You see, this is how you know that you're going to eat every day. You know how you know you're going to eat every day? Somebody tell me. How do you know you're going to eat every day? You're hungry. You're hungry. You know how I know I'm going to eat every day? Because what I do for a living, I'm good at it. I'm good at it. I didn't say that good enough for y'all. I'm good at it. That's how I know. And when you get good at it, you don't have to worry about your next meal. You see, I did what I loved and I kept doing it because I got good at it. And if I had not gotten good at it, I would not have done it. And in order for me to do it, I had to love it. But I couldn't love it if I wasn't good at it. You can want to love it, but because you're not good at it, it's hard to love it. To figure out how to get good. That's the real key. So I went to work because I wanted to be a competitor. I wanted to excel at a high level. And I wanted to defeat and beat the other person. I wanted to outproduce or outperform the persons that I'm going up against. And in order for me to do that, if on day one I wasn't good enough to do that, I needed to get good enough so I could do it. And for me, the secret is that I had to reinvest in me so that I can become very competitive in it, so when I went back out, I can guarantee you success because I was very good at what I did. I was famous for those things that I just told you about. I got good and I ultimately loved what I did. I loved what I did, I loved what I did, and even today that rings true. If I were to ask the people that knew me before the clip, the first thing they'd tell you, I don't think I've ever seen anybody work like he worked. And I have friends to this day that would call me and say, we thought we were the ones that would make it to the NFL. We had more talent than you, but we didn't have more work ethic than you. You can be talented, But the question is, how much more talented is the person next to you? And so when you put talent with work ethics, you give yourself a greater chance of being successful. And so they would say his work ethics outperformed his talent. And that took me to where I am now. Do what you love, and if you need to get good at it, then do what it takes to get good at it. Do what you love, and if you're not really good at it, do what it takes to get really good at it, because that's when you're going to love it. And life is too short to do what you don't love. It just is. Then you will love what you do, and when you love what you do, you experience health, happiness, personal reward. That's what you experience. And so, for me, I put myself on the clock. I said, listen here, Big Daddy. You got so much time to figure this out. And so I began to do that because I knew I loved it, and I also accepted the terms that I'm going to do what it takes to do it. And then I started doing it. And so at the end of the day, those two key things as I close with you that I want to make sure you don't forget. Do what you love, and love what you do. And if you don't love it, it's because you're probably not good at it. And when you get good at it, you're going to love it. I'm telling you, when you get good at it, you're going to love it. And you're going to do it. You're going to want to do that more than you want to do anything else in life, because you're really, really good at it. And so I challenge you this morning, don't just be an okay leader. Be a great leader. Don't just give okay effort, give great effort. Don't just like what you do, love what you do. Because that's where the rewards are. I could name producers in this room, highly successful people in this room, and I promise you, I would guarantee you, they will tell me they love what they do. And the chief reason why they can say they love what they do is because they're good at it. I'll close. You will never, ever be good at what you don't love. Hey, thank y'all so much.